But I 100% have confidence now, and I'm excited to see where that takes me, because I will never forget that feeling of crossing the finish line and, you know, crying in the dirt because I didn't make the podium. And I think that will stick with me forever. I rolled my ankle really badly at Legends of the Falls. It was 2 weeks exactly before I left for the games that Saturday. So it was a pretty gnarly roll.
Don't take.
Oh my God. When it happened, I was like, ow, my foot, like something just happened to my foot. And they're like, you okay? I was like, I don't know, like something's really wrong with my foot. And so I just tried to keep running on it. He's like, Rich is like, jump up and do a rope climb, like try to run it out. Kept running. We're in the middle of nowhere, and I like feel like my ankle's sticking out of my foot because I've never felt that feeling before.
She's gonna have to trail run out at the ranch. So I wanted her to trail run, and we were doing this event, and the whole time, I'm gonna twist my ankle. Like, stop talking about it. I'm gonna twist my ankle. I know I'm just gonna know I'm gonna twist my ankle. I'm gonna twist my ankle. Well, just the whole time going into it. I think she talked herself into twisting her ankle. So I try to get her to keep moving. We get to the ropes. She doesn't climb one rope climb. She just walks back and forth, staring at her ankle. It's swelling, it's swelling. I know it's swelling. It's getting bigger. You see, it's getting bigger. Look, it hurts. It's getting bigger. I gotta take this chip off. This chip is gonna swell around this chip, and this chip's gonna get stuck on my leg. I'm like, calm down, keep moving.
Right when it happened, I thought I literally broke my foot. Like, it was so painful, and just the feeling that I had when it happened, it was really scary. And then, you know, while we were waiting to go to the hospital to get x-rays, like just all that emotion was really scary. And yeah, I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to compete at the games because my foot was already like so swollen and bruised and couldn't walk.
The COVID situation before leaving for the games was stressful, like too stressful.
It seemed like everyone around us started to get COVID, which was not the best feeling, knowing that we had to pass a COVID test to be able to compete. So Tasha and I were a little stressed, to say the least.
There was a lot of fear and anxiety and stress surrounding, we had to have a negative COVID test. Like, there was no other option so that Haley could compete.
I was so worried about this opportunity just being taken away from me, because if I were to fail a COVID test or something, and we had been traveling too, so you had to think about that.
Finding out that me or her were positive, that would keep her from competing and keep her from this opportunity that she's been training for over a year, which was just, it was heavy. It was really heavy, especially I felt on me, I was trying to take stress off Haley. So people were like texting me about these COVID cases coming up, and I was trying to keep it from her because we were stressed already. And the stress was just mounting. I actually, one night, the night after we had taken our COVID test, I had like a mini panic attack, and which made me think I had COVID because I was laying down and I couldn't breathe, and I'm like, I think I have COVID.
But when we got our results, it was literally the best feeling ever. It was such a huge relief, and I felt like then was the moment I was so excited to be at the games, and then we got to check in and all the fun stuff.
I definitely knew she was stressed, but that's because I'm her friend and I'm with her 24/7. But I don't think from the outside public you would ever pick that up. She definitely, I think, puts pressure on herself to do well, and that's what a great athlete does. But she carries herself very stoic, and I think I heard a lot of people from the outside being like, wow, she's so collected and so calm, because she is, and she just uses that to drive her forward.
I would say it felt real, like those feelings, probably the night before, because everything was just so weird leading up to it. Like, we're stuck in a hotel room, you know, there's not much to do. The night before, I started to get the jitters, and I knew that next morning I was like, it's time. Because I don't need a big crowd, I don't need, you know, fans everywhere. I can just kind of like do it myself, you know?
I felt like it was an advantage to Haley because she's really good on her own. She doesn't need someone to tell her a game plan. She can go out and make it happen. That's kind of what we do in the gym.
I mean, I really liked that event. I thought I would do well in it. I was glad it was a little bit of a heavier barbell, so I could be like, hey, I'm not like super weak, you know, I can kind of move this weight. Yeah, I was super happy with how I did. I kind of expected maybe around there, but just to like know that, okay, like, you can hang up there. Even though I knew that I could, but it's still a good feeling to start off the games like that.
There was one moment after she had done the first workout, so I wasn't at the ranch but she went out and just totally crushed it. And I texted her and was like, Haley, amazing. And she texted me back and said, felt like I was just in the barn. And to me, that was a huge highlight, because that is, wow. Like, that is an incredible thing to already be able to get your minds to a place where it's like you're comfortable at your home, where you're competing. And I just felt like, wow, that's super mature. Like, already right off the bat, event one, she's like, oh, I feel like I'm at home. You know, so that was definitely a highlight. I know it's something small, but like that was a highlight just in how she carried herself in the first event in the CrossFit Games, which we know as athletes, that's the hardest one. Like, that is like where you feel sick and you're like, what am I doing? Is that first event, and then it feels like it gets easier. So that was definitely a highlight for me.
I was like making moves on the way to the top. We were almost there. Like, I'm just trying to pass people. Captain's right in front of me. I'm trying to get around. So we get up to almost the very top, and it's like straight up. Like, you have to basically get on your hands and knees. But also what I didn't realize was there was black sand or some kind of sand. And so I tried to go into that to get around her straight up because she was bent over. So I was trying to get around. And that's where I messed up, is I should have bent over too, got on my hands and knees, and just crawled up that hill. But instead I tried to go straight up and started to fall like backwards. So I'm grabbing onto this tree. I lose my sandbag. I'm just trying not to let anyone else pass me. I'm basically like rolled out on the ground, just holding on to the tree with one hand, you know? So then I finally got up, didn't let anyone else pass me because I was laid out. No one else was gonna pass me. But yeah, I had a little slip up, but I should have bent over, like been aggressive and tried to get up this hill, but I was just trying to, you know, be respectful of space. So I'm just trying to walk straight up it, like completely upright. And I should have bent over and, like, you know, got in there a little bit, but I did not. But I didn't lose any more spots, which is good, but I was having a hard time. Dave after was like, way to not give up. I'm like, what did you expect me to do? Just, oh, I dropped my sandbag, I'm done? Like, I'm just gonna sit here? I'm like, no, I'm like holding on to the tree with one hand and have the sandbag in my other. Like, there's this weird picture. I look like, Rich said I looked like some kind of lizard, like a tree lizard that holds on, because I'm like, my hands all spread out and I'm just like looking on the ground. It was funny. Yeah, so I mean, I thought we were almost done. So I was really sending it like the last 10 minutes trying to catch Tia. So I was pretty uncomfortable like going down that hill, but once we made that that turn and then they were coming up the hill, I was like, oh no, like maybe they just have to run back up that hill to the tree or something, you know, like maybe that's the tiebreaker. I don't know. So that was in my head. I honestly did not think we were gonna turn around. I really didn't. I thought we just had to run up that hill. So then I got down from the hill and he's like, that's one lap. You have to go back now. And I felt like I was gonna have a panic attack a little bit because I had just gone so hard, like selling my soul. And I know that I wasn't the only one, like everyone felt like that. So once I got up that hill again, I was like, it's okay, because you're just thinking about like all the hills that you just ran down that took you a while to like run down. So you have to run back up. That was definitely a very, very mental event for a little bit because it was hard to stay in it, especially when you don't have anyone else around you now, it's just you. I was super pumped when I finished the trail run because, I mean, I felt good and it was hard, but I was happy with my efforts. I mean, I stayed in second the whole time, basically. And then about 10 to 15 minutes after, my stomach started to hurt, which isn't unusual for me after a long run. My stomach does kind of hurt sometimes. And then things went south really fast.
I knew Haley wasn't feeling great. I didn't know the extent of it until she had gotten back from the ranch. She had texted me that she wasn't feeling well and some things were going on, and it was pretty visible on the post run. They did an interview with her where she was like crouched down in the fetal position.
I would say within 20, 30 minutes, I was in a fetal position on the ground. If you watch the interview, you understand. That was after one trip to the bathroom, and I was kind of, in my head, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't want to tell anyone yet because I was like, maybe if it happens again, like, I'll go tell someone. It did, but after the interview, or when I was doing the interview, it had only happened one time. So you could kind of tell in my face, like I was kind of scared and I was in pain too, but yeah, things went south really fast.
It definitely progressed. So Haley got back, she laid straight into bed at 6:30, covered in dirt. And me not knowing the extent of what's going on, I'm like, hey, we gotta fuel. Like, you just worked out 5 times today. You need to eat, you need to drink. Like, we need to get ready for tomorrow. You exerted so much energy.
Yeah, it was a very long night. It was to the point where I definitely needed some medical attention. Didn't eat because I couldn't keep it down, I guess. And yeah, it was a very scary night.
And she was just not feeling it. She was not really super responsive. She's like, I'm just gonna lay down for a little bit. My stomach hurts so bad. She was only getting up to go to the bathroom. I couldn't get her to eat or drink anything. And so right away I called the doctor.
As soon as we got off the bus, I went up to my hotel room, still in the clothes that I ran in, all the dirt all over me. I had to lay in my bed just like that. Didn't get up, didn't shower, laid in my bed just like that because I felt like I could not move. Couldn't pick up my phone. Yeah, just laid there shaking.
Haley's stomach issues after day one was not normal. Not a normal post-workout sickness, stomach ache. It was, yeah, we needed medical attention. We needed other help people, other ideas coming to make sure she was okay.
Yeah, I was so sick that I was actually scared for my own health. Yeah, that night was really wild.
Being older, I can recognize that I wanted her to live a long, healthy life after the CrossFit Games and try to just, I would never want her to stop. And I know Haley would, I would have had to hold her back to stop her, but it was scary.
So it continued for most of the early hours of the night. And my stomach was pretty messed up. I couldn't eat until 4 o'clock in the morning, I think. I ate some raw noodles. Still just felt very, very shaken up. A lot happened that night. I lost a lot of fluids. Yeah, so you can't just bounce back from that. Obviously I woke up that morning, had no energy. It was just hard just to get going. And, I had some crazy events that day too, but it was all I could do before the first event just to even warm up because I felt so awful. I had nothing in me.
She was still not feeling good. She was pale, ghostly, just super, she looked like a zombie to me and was still having trouble just keeping any food or water down. In the end, the doctor said that she was okay to go out and compete, so we geared up, grabbed her stuff, and got ready to go.
So I knew when I got that morning, I was like, I'm gonna compete. Am I gonna feel like crap? Am I gonna feel weak? Am I not gonna be able to do my best? Yeah. But I was not going to give up after everything. No way. Especially when I got up that morning and felt like I'd like you said, passed a corner. I wasn't throwing up or anymore, and I knew that I would somehow be able to do it, and just not to the best of my ability, but all I had been. I was so excited for the first event on day 2 because it was kettlebells and lunges and toes to bar, and I love all those movements. So we were all super excited for me on that event, and it was all I could do just to hang on for 30 toes to bar. And if you know me, I'm pretty good at toes to bar, and I was the last one off the toes to bar because my stomach and I just felt so weak. Even the kettlebells, they felt so heavy and slipped, which wasn't good for me at that point either. Only Tasia saw it really. It was a miracle to get through that event, to say the least. So I'm not the strongest by any means, but I feel like I am pretty good at snatching, especially at that first weight, 140, 145, 150, 155. That's a pretty easy weight for me to usually hit. But in the warm-up area, 145 felt so heavy, and I'm like, oh no, because I was scared that the same thing was gonna happen last year as the clean, I'm just gonna make a fool of myself with a barbell again. But clearly no one had any idea what was going on at home. So I got out there and it happened exactly the way I thought it would. It felt so heavy. I was feeling 155. I mean, I knew what was wrong with me, but the world didn't. And I was just scared that people are gonna think the same thing about me again with the barbell.
Right away, I called the doctor after the snatch ladder to see if it was possible to get her an IV. And we met with the doctor and he said yes. That seemed to help a lot. I felt better after that. Even the camera guys there that were videoing all weekend, they're like, you have more color in your face, you look better. And that was right before the bike event, literally right before. And that definitely helped her energy and gave her some fluids that she wasn't able to get by ingesting liquids and food. So when we went into the bike repeater event, she came out with second place and totally crushed it. And it's just such like a sigh of relief that she was feeling better, because I could see how bad she was feeling in the morning.
It was cool because nothing really started to happen until like rounds 3 or 4, I'd say. And then after that, I just kind of like kept chipping my way up, and I went from like 3rd and then moved pretty comfortably into 2nd. But it was fun to watch and be out there. That was my favorite event. Yeah, I finally felt like I had some emotion. I felt like myself, like even after the workout, I felt like even if I would have done bad, like I would have felt it. But as before, I didn't feel anything. I was just trying to just get through it. But I was super excited. I was like, okay, maybe I'm back to it. And I felt good after, and I was ready to keep fighting.
So the day ended with Happy Star.
I think it had caught back up to me again. Like I had already used all my energy just for that bike workout. And I think that just the fatigue and just the dehydration and all the fluid loss had caught up to me again. Like I didn't have anything by the end of the day. And also we're at day 2 of a crazy CrossFit Games. So just that on top of everything, I was not happy with how I did in that workout. It was a heavier thruster, but it shouldn't have been that heavy for me. So I was irritated at how I did on that, because I should have done better in that workout, and I'll say that. Looking at that workout, just in here, I felt like I maybe could have been a top 3 at least, and I was just not happy with how I did in that.
The morning of the 3rd day was way better than the morning of day 2. She was able to eat after day 2, drink, get all those fluids, shower before she laid in bed. And we knew a swim workout was coming. Haley's a great swimmer. She's very confident at swimming. So it was a great start to the 3rd day and final day of competition. So the first event on Sunday was the pool workout, which I didn't get to be there. I had to watch it on the computer like everyone else. And it was so exciting. I was so pumped up. I knew Haley was gonna do well when I saw the workout, and she found it out right before she got to know. So she had texted me the apparatus that were there, and we found out the workout. And Rich and I were in a text, and it's like, all right, you just gotta send it.
All Rich told me to do was send it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna send it. And I did. And it hurt, but I held on, and I knew I could do it. And that was definitely one of the hardest events I've ever done, like swimming-wise. Just that assault bike sprint before the swim made you feel like you were dying.
And to see her come out and totally crush it, I knew she would based on the moves in that workout. That was definitely a high to start Sunday.
Yeah, I was feeling good. I was super excited. I'm pretty good at sprinting, so I knew that it was just gonna come down to the sled.
All those girls on the field are sprinters. They're really fast. So to be second to the sled, I was super pumped. I know she lost a little bit of ground on the sled, but to see her just fight it out and grind it out for that 3rd one, she did amazing, and I was pumped. I honestly thought she maybe could have squeezed in 3rd, but a great finish nevertheless.
Last year at the games, that sled, I don't know if anyone saw, but I basically got last in that event. I was walking with the sled, stopping. So it was the same weight, so the fact that I was able to kind of keep up on that, I was super happy about, because we've done a lot of sled pushes this year. I wasn't worried about the sprint part. Like I said, it was just the sled. So I think I took 4th in that one, which doesn't sound good, but compared to last year, that sled, it was good for me.
Okay, so after the sprint sled sprint, we were heading to Aromas, and the coaches got to go for Atalanta, but at the time, we had no idea what the workout was.
So I was in 3rd going into the final, and I knew that I had to, I think it was stay ahead of Carrie, or not let someone in between us. And same thing with Brooke.
I was very aware of Haley's placement in the points, and we definitely knew like where she needed to sit to be able to get onto the podium, which I was like checking with China too. I'm like, is my math right? Is this right for her, like where she needed to place? When Dave announced Atalanta, I thought first, this is great for Haley, because I've done plenty of workouts with her in pull-ups. She's great at pull-ups, handstand push-ups, pistols, and running.
I was very excited for that workout because I did think that it would favor me, but also knew that it was really good for Carrie, like probably one of the best workouts for her. So I was just trying to stay, like just keep my eyes on my game plan and, just try to stay with her.
I initially thought, okay, this is great for Haley, but also this is a lot of reps, like a lot of reps to manage for anybody, let alone body weight, but also with a vest on. So Haley and I, we sat down and talked about it and got Rich into the conversation. And the basic strategy, I think, for most people out there was going to be small sets and then just chip away because it's going to come down to muscle fatigue. Don't crush the run too hard. You know, on the second run, if you've got it, send it. But yeah, pretty simple strategy.
No, see, everyone said I came out hot. Everyone was running so slow. I'm not kidding. I was like, literally, I could have breathed out of my nose the whole time. And Tay's just like, slow down. I'm like, I'm literally, like, I'm fine. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that affected me at all. I was not running fast, for me at least. I don't know. But Carrie said the same thing. She was like, do I need to, like, slow down? Because she was like, it feels like we were running so slow. And I mean, I didn't feel the need to go that slow, I guess. I mean, I wasn't running fast either. And I don't know, I felt like I could have had a conversation the whole run. I was actually feeling really good, like into the pull-ups. I was trying to go neck and neck with Katrin, and we were there for a while, but then my hands started to rip.
It was really hard just seeing her hands being ripped up like that, because not only do I know that's very painful from even a small rip, her hands were covered in them and you could visibly see the blood coming off her hands. But at the time, you know that you're in it and you're gonna finish it. And so I was just trying to keep her going and be like, wipe your hands off, like get them dry, because at that point chalk doesn't really work. So things that it's kind of like tough love, like, hey, okay, there's blood dripping down your arms, let's wipe your hands off and jump back on the bar.
And then blood started going everywhere, and I had to start getting chalk after every single break. So then I was losing her fast. Because, I mean, I would try not to get chalk every time, but I'd have to because it literally, my hands were like falling off the bar. So make 5 pull-ups even harder in a weight vest at that time, add soap to your hands, and that's what it felt like. So having to stop and get chalk every single time just made it even harder, and it was so difficult to see like that podium place just slip away right there because you're literally watching it play out. And I can't do anything about it because my hands are just gushing blood, and I'm gonna fall off the bar if I don't get chalk. So just wiping my hands on my shorts, just trying everything, but I gave them all, literally, so. No, it hurt, but I mean, I was willing to go through that. It was just the fact of it was so slippery. I couldn't hang on any without getting chalk, and even the chalk then didn't help because it's gushing every single time I jump up.
Just going over to her and seeing her so upset was like really heartbreaking for me because I totally respect her being sad, and that's totally warranted. But I didn't want her to think that everyone wasn't so proud of her and that she shouldn't be proud of herself and everything that she had accomplished and done and fought through. And just being the eye behind to see everything that she really went through that other people didn't get to see. Yeah, I just wanted her to be really proud of how she had done. It just had kind of hit that like I didn't make the podium and I was so close, like one spot basically. And I was just sad, like I'm a competitor, I'm gonna get upset about not achieving my goals and knowing that I was so close. So that was just real raw emotion, and everyone was like, are you okay? Like, do you need medical help? And I was like, no, I'm just sad. And I gave myself like 5 minutes to be upset about it. And then I looked at the bright side, like I was upset about not making the podium. Like, how crazy is that? I was so close. And it's wild that I can even say that. Like, I got 4th in the world, like I'm very proud of that, but it just makes me fired up for next year. I think being so close to achieving that goal and missing it will only light the fire and give her more motivation. And I mean, we've seen that with a ton of great athletes, not only in CrossFit, but other sports. So I think in the end, this will be something good. I got confidence that weekend, and I kind of gained it this year, but I 100% have confidence now, and I'm excited to see where that takes me because I will never forget that feeling of crossing the finish line and, you know, crying in the dirt because I didn't make the podium, and I think that will stick with me forever. I'm proud of how I held it together somehow with everything that was thrown at us, and just the will to like not give up and know that that will carry with me for the rest of my life, no matter what I'm doing. Haley Adams is definitely capable of winning the CrossFit Games. Definitely stand on the podium. I know that's something right now that's like a for sure goal of hers. She's capable of great things, and what's really cool about Haley is it's more than just sport. And if you know Haley, she she loves people and she wants to help young girls be confident and grow up in the sport. And to me, being older and like her being at such a young age and having such a grasp on the impact she can make, it's really cool to watch.
Oh, 100%. Next year, I want a podium, and I'm not scared to say it anymore. I've always been scared, but I'm going to say it now. Like, I would like the podium next year, one day win the games, and I don't know when, but win sometime.
And it's honestly hard for me to conceptualize it a little bit because I'm with her every day. So when I'm like the fourth fittest woman on earth, like I have to be like the fourth fittest woman on earth. That is like mind blowing. And I think I said this to Haley because I know she's incredible, but when you're with her every day, you're not like thinking about these titles, these things that, you know, people put on other people. And to see her already have that at 19, and not just the title, but the potential, you know, it is incredible.
I proved to myself this year that it wasn't a fluke about last year and that I belong out there and I want to be a top competitor for years to come. I look ahead and I have my whole career ahead of me. I'm just getting started and I know that I can only go up from here for a while. So it's nothing but excitement from here.